there were things that I was met with in the cage that I didn't think I would be met with. And I actually really wanted to be aggressive in this fight. I was actually getting frustrated. And I think this is the first time someone's gotten me frustrated. I need to do way better.
Without further ado, the one and only MVP, aka Michael Venom Page, kind enough to join us. Hey, Michael, how are you, my man?
How you doing? You okay?
I'm doing great. This seems like a great little location that you're in right now. Where is this? This looks fantastic.
Yeah, I'm in which is a little staycation at a Soho farmhouse. So it's like a countryside type vibe.
Wow, in London.
It's a little nice, relaxing one. Yeah, so just outside London.
Okay, wonderful. Well, sorry to interrupt the staycation. You're always a gent. You're always gracious with your time. Always appreciate it. Let's get into it. Much to discuss with you. All right, this is the big one. 48 hours, you fought. You've had time to digest. Everyone's weighed in. You've weighed in a little bit. How do you feel about what transpired on Saturday night?
Yeah, I've gone back, sat with it, thought about it. And for me, it wasn't good enough of a performance from my side. There were things that I was met with in the cage that I didn't think I would be met with. It was, Patterson was a bit more on his back foot. And I actually really wanted to be aggressive in this fight. But again, just because that happened, I then didn't readjust and rethink how to work it out, how to press, how to close the gap. I was actually getting frustrated. And I think this is the first time someone's gotten me frustrated in the cage. So yeah, it was just looking at, I like to focus more on myself. I was looking at myself and I was like, I need to do way better. It wasn't good enough. I think the fans have got an expectation on me, but I've got a massive expectation on myself, and I didn't deliver.
We had heard how you felt about the fight, how you felt about the matchmaking, how you felt about the state of things with the UFC leading up to the fight. Did any of that sentiment, any of that frustration, for lack of a better term, affect the way in which you fought on Saturday?
It's hard to say, to be fair, but definitely you forget how frustrations can actually manifest itself. And as you said, I've had quite a few, one, obviously the opponent, it was somebody that I know well and I've worked with, so we didn't really want to have that fight. But it was also somebody I would never have respected us to even cross paths right now anyway, because status-wise, ranking-wise, didn't think was correct. But at the same time, once I kind of got over my frustrations, I was locked in to I need to deliver, a good result and then ask for, the fights that I want again and really push for the fights that I want. So, I felt like it did. I would say it didn't, but obviously the performance that I ended up having, maybe it did play a part and seep in a little bit.
The reason I asked that is I was wondering if, all right, you made it very much known how you felt about the fight in the booking. So hey, let me just do, not the safe thing, but let me not put myself in danger, get the win, and then it's on to the next, and then I'll get a bigger fight. Was that any part of the thinking as far as how you were approaching this?
No, I was the opposite. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go big here. I'm going to have to really put something on so they can't deny me the next fight. That's where I was at. And again, the game plan wise, I was expecting Patterson to have a bit more of a, it's a win-win for him. So really, Hail Mary, let's just go for it. But he was a bit more cautious and tactical. Styles make fights. So because he was a bit more defensive, it made it a bit harder to kind of close him. But again, I was trying to push forward and trying to make things happen. Genuinely, I was even speaking to my coach mid, each round. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I was getting frustrated. But I would say it was more my coach that was like, you just got to stick to the game plan. He knows he's going to bite soon, and he'll open up soon. I wanted to just try to go a bit more crazy, and maybe a bit more reckless, which obviously would have put me in danger. Whereas my coach that was like, no, stay to the game plan, and just look for him in a way that we've worked on. So yeah, no, I wanted to really deliver something big. That's what I think adds to my frustration now.
You've sparred with him in the past, right?
Yeah.
How long ago was the last time?
I think it was around probably like earlier in my Shara Bullet camp.
Oh, so really not that long ago.
Not too long ago. No. Like I said, we know each other well enough to understand certain aspects of each other. Obviously, we wasn't trying to kill each other. It was more helping each other. But still, it's like we're familiar, and I think that's probably what added to maybe him being a bit more cautious because he knows how dangerous I am. I feel like if he hadn't experienced me in the gym, maybe he would have been a bit more, wanting to come forward. But you'd have to ask him that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was expecting a young gunner to come out trying to kill me. And again, like I said, I think he was a bit more. He was being a bit more safe. And I was, I don't know. I just was disappointed the whole thing more so on my side because either way, regardless of what my opponent does, I should always have an answer and have something to be able to set the traps to figure out what's going on and then still get the result that I want. So yeah, it's definitely all on me.
You might have been locked in and didn't realize, but I was wondering, first UFC London fight for you, big deal. 25th career victory, by the way. Congratulations. I didn't hear that mentioned, and that's a great honor and distinction as well. But to hear the boos in the middle of the fight, how did you process that?
To be fair, I'm never really fazed by boos during the fight because, again, I know fans can get bored really, really quickly. And I know my style is one of those kind of styles where it's a lot of animosity built up. It's a lot of tension and not loads happening, but then there's usually explosive moments that will happen. And I guess because there wasn't getting those explosive moments during the fight, I kind of completely understood them. Like I was booing myself in my head. So I completely understood why they would be booing, but that's not something that has ever fazed me. I've been in fights where during the fight, they get agitated because not much is happening and they've booed before, and I still go out and get the victory in the correct way. So never really been fazed. It was more what was happening, actually happening, that was annoying myself and frustrating myself. That was the big effect.
Have you rewatched the fight yet?
Not properly. I've seen like aspects of the fight, but I want to sit down with the commentary and everything and actually do that. I always like to have my family time first. Sure. And obviously I had family fly over, which was amazing to feel that support. So I've just been spending time with them, and they're slowly been leaving. And then once everyone's gone, I'm going to sit down and tune into the fight properly.
The reason I ask that is, are there moments that you remember looking back that you have regret where you were like, yeah, I should have put the pedal to the metal here. I should have taken a chance. I should have gone for it. Are there moments that are sort of replaying in your mind?
Yeah, loads. There's loads of moments. There's loads of things I was like, oh man, I should have just done that thing that we do, when he was deciding to go this way, and I didn't throw that kick here, and I could have thrown that feint here to make him go this way. Like there's loads of stuff, and that's without, as you say, having to look back on it. It's just more what's going over in my head, and again, that is for me what's the most disappointing, because I have answers for people that decide to do that, because I know, and I've spoken about this before, my style can either make you freeze, it can either make you back up, or it can make you rush forward. And I have answers for when people do whatever happens. And I just didn't push enough and really go for it.
Also was wondering about the move back down to 170. Sometimes, we've seen it in boxing a lot. When someone goes really high up and then they come back down, the body feels a little bit different when they're back down. In MMA, there's a big gap between middleweight and welterweight. How did you feel, especially on fight week, as you were cutting back to 170 for the first time in a while?
Let me just start from the beginning. I was on Roadhouse over towards the end of the year up to December. That's when I really put on a lot of weight. And I mean, I was 106 kgs. And then cut down to 77 for the fight. Weirdly enough, that last week, I actually was feeling really, really good. I actually got down relatively early in terms of I had still about 2 weeks left where I could have cut from there, but obviously just taking my time now. So then when I had my cut was quite comfortable, to be fair. I was actually expecting it to be a rough one, like you said, because my body hasn't been used to being down there. I was expecting it to be quite difficult. It was actually quite comfortable. My body felt great the next day. And this is what adds to the frustration is everything just felt on point. I felt strong. I was working with John Hathaway, as you guys know. He was in my corner, and he's an amazing, exceptional body to be working with. And even he was saying, man, you're feeling strong. We'd done some spars before. He was, helping me out a lot in the camp. And yeah, like I was just feeling good. And then I didn't deliver. So that's, again, adds to the frustration, because I was really, in my head, I had already envisioned, a spectacular KO. I could see it coming. I was just feeling super fast. Body felt great. Yeah, and it just didn't happen. So, yeah, I can't blame the weight cut at all.
For those that may not know, 106 kg is around 233 pounds. You fought at 170. That's massive. Did they need for you to get that big? Was that your choice?
No, to be again, in all honesty, it's my first film of that scale, and it's a game of, somebody spoke to me about this and said it's a game of hurry up and wait. So you have to rush to get on set, and you're waking up at 4 a.m, driving over. You have to be here on time, there on time, get your makeup done, so on and so forth. And then you're sitting down for hours, and everyone's coming up to you, oh, would you like any food? Would you like any drinks? I was just eating cakes and biscuits and just snacking a lot, and just slowly getting bigger. I did want to be a little bit bigger for the film, but I definitely went way too far.
Okay. This streak of not getting a finish now, 5 fights, about 3 years, is this weighing on you?
Yeah, it's frustrating. At first, even though I wasn't getting a finish, I was kind of happy with the performances, and I kind of understood, why it happened. Kevin's obviously a hard person to finish, hardly anybody does finish him. Even when he's been knocked down, he seems to have a way of surviving and still staying in the fight. Ian Gary, obviously, it was just a technical fight, and I've managed to push him into being a bit more of a grappler. Then I've gone up a weight, so I kind of understood it's already going to be harder to kill those kind of guys because they're naturally bigger than me. But I got the likes of Shara Bullet and Jared Cannonier, who are just beasts. So Jared used to be a heavyweight himself. So again, just hard to kill. So I kind of accepted it, but still was chasing it. And then this one, I was just like, man, come on, man. I need to get back to the old school ways of MVP, man. And seriously, I'm already writing schedules about what game plan and training structure I have to change in order to gain more power, gain more speed, and get those knockouts.
Takes a lot of courage to speak up the way in which you did leading up to the fight. What was the reception like for you on fight week? How did you feel? Did you feel any type of friction?
With Sam?
No, with the UFC, to be quite honest. I mean, you...
Oh, no. To be fair, if anybody has actually followed my career, I've never been shy to just kind of say how I feel. I don't think it's a bad thing, whether it's you're going to piss somebody off or upset somebody. I've never felt it a bad thing if it's honest and it's not an emotional thought. There's frustrations involved and, a bit of disappointment with certain decisions and so on and so forth, but it's still well thought out. So when I'm speaking to people, I'm not doing it from an emotional place. It's like, no, this is how I feel. I'm, irritated with this. So, I wish this was different. And I wish, that had changed. And I feel like the honesty of that, people kind of respect. So, I didn't feel any animosity. I didn't get to see Dana specifically over this past week, but I didn't feel any animosity towards or from any of the UFC staff. I felt a lot of support. They were all still rooting for me. Even spoke to Hunter, and he's just like, man, I'm in your corner. If you need, you got to speak to me. Let me know if if there's things that you need. We can have those conversations. It didn't feel like anybody had any issue with what I was saying, and I think it's just because you can tell it's coming from an honest place.
Did you have that conversation with Hunter? Did he offer any type of explanation as to why it was Sam Patterson? Because that seemed to be a major issue for you.
I never really got to speak to him directly about that. It was more audio. It was going back and forth with him. He spoke to my coaches a few times as well. And it was more, his thing was, you are very difficult to match. And I took that as, I guess people are somewhat. I don't like to use the word scared because I think MMA fighters are some of the most fearless fighters in the world, or fearless people in the world. Because what we have to do, but obviously they are cautious about the style that they're going to have to go into. So they might see somebody that's equally as tough as me, but it's more of a style that they are familiar with. Whereas I'm tough, but I'm an awkward style. So then why, if you offer me two fights and MVP's one of them, I'm gonna go with the other guy because it's like, cool, it's still a tough fight. But I've seen those takedowns before, I've seen those punches before, I've seen those kicks before. I can deal with that. That I don't really understand. So I feel like that's where it came from. He said, he's trying to find fighters. It's not getting a lot of reception. There's a few young guys that, I guess want to, explode into the rankings and kind of make a name for themselves, that I'm happy to do it. So this is what we can offer you for right now.
And then the walkout. The walkout, I have to say, one of the all-time best. And it's a great song. And your movements were great as well. Unfortunately, we can't play the song because we don't want to get dinged by YouTube, but this is the sort of tail end of it. Can you tell us, and I know you were asked about it at the post-fight press conference, and you gave them a little cheeky smile there, Michael, but tell us, what was the message you were trying to send us with that walkout song? They Don't Really Care About Us by the great Michael Jackson.
Yes, yeah. Again, I said it in the post-fight press conference. There's a multitude of things. If I start with my own frustrations, I think it was a little bit of that, of just kind of like, man, the kind of decisions that were made, like I've spoken about in terms of being frustrated with. I think the main one for me was the fact that they've put a young kid who's super talented, who's had one fight in the UFC as a co-main event, and it was just like, I feel disrespected. You know what I mean? Like the effort and what I've delivered for the fans in the same arena and other arenas around the world. And then obviously, even though I haven't necessarily got the finish, I've delivered I feel like some really entertaining fights and a lot for people to speak about, and I've made a lot of noise still. To be like, we don't, he's not co-main, he's not main, he's in his own backyard. And I think the majority of people in there were there to see me. Although I didn't deliver, they were there to come and see what MVP had to show. It was a bit of annoyance with that. So it was like, I felt like it was relevant, but then genuinely, just everything that's going on in the world, in my head, it's like, it doesn't really matter what side you fall on. Too many innocent women, kids, men are dying for nonsense, for these higher powers, political battles and financial battles and just battles of power. And like you said, it's such a classic song. It's been around for so long. It's such an old song, and it's still relevant, and probably more relevant today. I feel like it's just a statement that we're just all heading in the wrong direction. And we claim to be progressive in so many different areas, like science, technology, and all those kind of things, and yet we're still going backwards in terms of how we treat each other. So, I feel like it was just I heard it. We were talking about Michael Jackson. We ended up playing one of his old, like, it was on YouTube, like an old documentary of him talking about stuff that, his journey and so on and so forth. He was literally the first song that I hummed as a baby. I was like 1 year old or 1.5. It was bad. Like, he's been such an influential figure for everybody. It just felt right.
When did that hit you? Was that on Fight Week?
No. It was before. It was, like I said, it was probably along the lines of when I was a bit frustrated. Okay. I thought about it. And then, like I said, I won't make any rash decisions while I'm feeling frustrated or annoyed. But it popped into my head because we were watching it around that same kind of time as well. And then as things were going on, and I'm just hearing the news about this and that, and I was just like, man, it's still relevant. Yep. And then when they usually ask around Fight Week or just before Fight Week, what track, and I'm like, man, this is the track. I want to make. I want to just send a message. And I always try to either send a message or I'm entertaining or I'm doing something with the time that I have on stage. So yeah, I felt it was just right.
It was tremendous theater, and also I have to say, shout out to the UFC as well, because they could put a stop to a song playing. They've done that before.
Yeah.
The fact that they let it go on, I thought, was quite notable in its own right.
Definitely.
There were some reports that Dana left in the middle of your fight. I don't know if that's true. I wasn't watching him. I didn't notice. Do you know if that's true?
Somebody had mentioned it, but again, I couldn't tell you if that's true or not. Someone just mentioned it to me, and even they didn't seem sure. It was, I don't know, but yeah.
Do you have any more intel on that? Do you know if it was because of your performance, anything like that? You can understand why people are trying to link it together, but
of course.
I don't know.
Even let's say it was due to my performance, then fair enough. Like I said, I would have probably walked out of my performance. It was bad. I'm not gonna be butthurt by it. If I was like kicking him in the face, spin kicking him and slamming him and doing all this stuff, and then he decided to walk out, then we'd be like, oh, what's going on there? Because I'll take that as personal. But like I said, I myself am disappointed in the result and the fight. So if he was like, yeah, I'm done with watching, fair enough.
Could I ask? And sometimes people like to answer, sometimes they don't, but I'll ask anyway. How many fights do you have left on your UFC contract?
I believe this. I think I got one more. It was a 6-fight deal. So
do you want to? The big talk was your future, what you want to do. What are you thinking? Do you want to stick around? Do you want to see what else is out there? Given how you felt leading up to this point, you just mentioned the disrespect word. How are you feeling regarding your future?
Like I said, I think all fighters are going to have moments in their career where they feel unappreciated, or they feel like things are not necessarily going in the way that they want. But ultimately, it is a massive privilege and an honor to be fighting on one of the greatest combat shows in the world that's ever to exist. And I'm thankful to have been given a shot. People say it's late in my career, this and that. Regardless, I'm thankful to be here today, to be given the promotion that they kind of present and gift fighters that, do well and succeed on their stage. I'm just thankful of that. So like I said, I'll never shy away from saying how I feel if I'm irritated. And like I said, it'll always be thought out as well. But if I genuinely believe it, I'll say it. But I'm super hyped that I'm part of the UFC, as well as so many of my friends that have spoken to me that I've always wanted to go to the UFC, and it's so nice to see you there now. And that's how I feel. But I also want to get something back from it. So the goal is the UFC belt. So as soon as we have the next conversation about, where I'm going to go, how many fights is that going to mean? Let's sign me up. I want to get a belt. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. I'm upset with myself that I haven't delivered what I know I can deliver, but I'm dying to show that to the UFC and just the world.
Sometimes when a fighter has one fight left, they'll try to wrap up a new deal before you get to that last fight. Sometimes you roll the dice, you play it out. How do you think it's going to work with you?
Again, I guess it's the powers that be. It's in God's hands. But I personally, I'm looking at the belt. I know it's not going to be the next fight, so I need to be here longer. So, with the next conversation, when the UFC is ready, that I have with them is about, okay, how many more fights do I need? What do I need to do? What division is the best direction to move in? I just want to get there. And again, I am coming towards the end of my career, but I still got a lot to do. I still got loads to do. I still feel great. I'm telling you, if I didn't feel as good as I felt, as much as I haven't yet shown it, if I didn't feel as good as I felt in the gym, I genuinely would be like, yeah, I'm good to retire now, but I've got a lot more to show.
So just to be crystal clear, for anyone out there saying MVP's trying to fight out his deal and leave the UFC, that's not your intention right now. You're open to everything. There's one fight left, but your goal as of right this moment, as we're speaking, is to be a UFC champion. You want to fight the best. That's why you're asking to fight the best. And as of right now, though, there are no talks about a new contract as of right this second. Is that fair?
No, we haven't had any talks here. Nothing's been presented. It might be most likely probably from their side, but I don't know when I'm supposed to go to speak to them, or if I'll just wait for them to speak to me. I was hoping again this fight was that big fight that showcases what I know I can do, which it wasn't. It's kind of giving me a bit of a backstep now, but so maybe I have to maybe I have to wait to the next fight. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for to see what they bought into. So maybe, the next fight, again, give me someone that wants to come and kill me. I want somebody that wants to take my head off, and we can have a proper fight, and I can showcase my skills. Give me. I don't care where. Just give me a big name, and let me put someone to bed in MVP fashion, and then we can move forward with progression to the belt.
I know this may be a tough question to answer, but from your perspective, do you think that the powers that be want to be in the MVP business?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you think that the powers that be in the UFC want to be in the MVP business?
I'm not entirely sure. It's very difficult to understand where people are, how they feel about me based on decisions that happen. Like I said, I don't agree with, I'm not even talking about just me. There's certain things I see from other fighters that I just don't necessarily agree with. But I don't understand how they come to these conclusions. Like, for example, Imavov, I feel like he should have that chance to fight for the middleweight belt. I thought it was like an obvious he's the next in line. But the decision's gone a completely different way. So I don't know. He might feel right now that they're not in the Imavov business. You know what I mean? So it's just hard to tell. They make the decisions based on whatever talks they have in the back office, and we just have to try to navigate what that means. But I'm in the MVP business. I'm looking to keep getting more and more people in the MVP business by showcasing my skills. I haven't done that, and I'm looking to do that.
I saw some posts that were attributed to you, but now I think that I looked to verify. It was just your Instagram post, right? Because some people, how it is, especially on X. So I just want to clarify, what you posted on Instagram regarding the fight is the only thing that you've said in the aftermath before this, of course, right?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, someone said, yeah. So that's the only thing I've said. Somebody had said to me, they'd seen something that I'd said, and I was like, that's definitely not me. And actually the team, they told me, one of the guys from the team told me about it, and they are now looking into where that come from, and they're going to have to deal with them and the Paradigm team, so they'll get it sorted out. But the Instagram is if anybody knows me, you don't even see me on many other platforms, really. I don't really tweet or X, sorry. I don't really do any of that. Anyway, so it's just Instagram.
Okay. Just wanted to clear that up, and I'll let you go in a moment as well. Because let's be honest, I don't think you got hit very much in that fight, right?
No.
Because of that, do you want to come back? If it was up to you, would you like to come back very quickly?
Yeah, as quick as possible to make as many people forget what just happened, including myself. So, the next couple of months I'd be good to go, because I'm at a very comfortable weight. Just get back into the gym, start training, start working. Like I said, I've got a schedule of what I want to do now. I've spoken to my coach as well. We need to go through a few more details, but I'm already planning that next stage. And I just want to try and speak to the UFC and see, and find out who and, when. So I'm trying to get back in as soon as possible.
Just for fun, because I know you'll say, give me a big name at 85-70. I'm Hunter Campbell, you're Michael Page. And I say to you, Michael, tell me the name, tell me the weight. What do you want? All right, you said you weren't happy. What do you want? What's the answer to that?
So it is very difficult. The reason why the first question for me would be, honestly speaking, in terms of me going towards the belt, what division seems more likely that you would prefer me at in terms of progression towards the belt? If I look at it from without asking that question, welterweight seems very messy at the moment. And I just feel I've got more of my strengths are at welterweight, but it feels like there's a better or easier path at middleweight. But I want to clarify that with the UFC. And then if they say middleweight, then give me a Kyle Burrell looked great in his last one. I'd love to have a fight like that. And he's 100% game. I actually love what he did in that last fight. I'd love a Robert Whittaker. I think that's a great fight as well. If we're still in the welterweight division, I wanted a Pratas. I've asked for Pratas. Morales asked, but them guys are obviously they're pushing for the belt. They've been doing successful, the knockouts, so on and so forth. I understand that would be difficult to kind of get those guys. Colby came out talking crap, saying that he had never been offered fights. I know for a fact that they have put my name forward, and he hasn't responded to that. So Colby, I'd love to punch him in the face. And I'm happy. I would literally, if they send the contract now, I would sign that today. So he's saying that he's he's trying to get on the White House card and this and that. Nobody's wanting to. It's nonsense. So he would love to fight. Who else was asking?
Leon.
Somebody else was. Leon would be great, but again, I kind of want it in the UK. But it's still to be a great fight. Buckley was complaining about how the division was, not moving in any way, shape, or form, and like people are just not fighting each other. And I completely agree with him. So why don't me and him just get on with it? We do it. So there's some great fights to be had.
You know what my takeaway is? I do wonder if the move up to 85 left you in no man's land.
Maybe actually, yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe actually. And this is why I need to get a bit more of a clear, concise answer from the UFC. Exactly what you want me to do. Like 100% no. We want you here, and then cool. I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm going to go with what you guys suggest. Just give me some good names, and let's run it back.
Last question for you. It is hard to go into anything, any type of endeavor, any type of work environment when you're feeling some sort of way, whether it's frustrated, disrespected, whatever. Looking back now on the road to this fight, the training camp and whatnot, do you feel like this was a cloud? Like if you're unhappy, if you're frustrated, it just, the birds don't sound the same, the coffee doesn't taste the same. You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like it affected you as a person, which maybe then, I'm not trying to give you the out to make an excuse or anything, but which maybe then left you in a certain type of mindset on Saturday night, looking back now that it's over?
I'll agree. I won't say it affected Saturday. I feel like I said, there were certain things I just should have done, and regardless. And the reason I say that is I've always kind of prided myself on being able to turn on MVP on the night of the fight. And regardless of what had happened before, I could have been heading towards it, the arena, got into a car crash. As long as my body's good to go, I'm ready to just turn on and be MVP when I get there still. I don't like to have it as an excuse, but I've had friends and family saying, and I've had ups and downs mentally about, if they like me or not, are they happy with me? What am I supposed to do differently? There are a lot of battles that I do have that is a cloud during the camp. But I still felt great. So I wouldn't, it definitely plays a part, but I don't feel like it would have changed anything per se. Obviously, you'd love to have an easy camp, but there's so many different things. Let's say the UFC, everything was all, Gucci with the UFC. I could have had family issues. I could have had this. There's always something that life is just going to life. So, I can't put it on them at all. It needs to be me. I need to be more resilient and ready regardless of what's going on.
Great stuff, Michael. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on, especially on vacation. Congrats on the win. A win is a win. 25 in a career is nothing to sneeze at. You're a legend of the game. And, I think it says a lot about you. You come on, you answer the questions, you face the music, so to speak. Whatever you want to say, you're always a gentleman. You're one of a kind.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Congrats. And we'll talk.
I appreciate you always having me on and speak to me. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, man. Thank you.
Of course. Congrats. Talk to you soon. All the best.
Take care. See you.
The one and only Michael Venom Page. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.